did it.
Yeah, we did. I can't wait for people to see it now. Bloody massive.
Magnificent.
Beautiful.
Incredible.
The scale of it, I just never really thought about how big it's actually going to be, and that, yeah, I just think it'll look amazing.
We think he's finished and he does a bit more and it just, yeah, it's even better.
Yeah, he just makes it better.
I've lived in Goroke for 77 years.
And I'm for 79 years.
We're lucky in a way that we're one of the very few small towns where things are opening and not shutting.
From IGAs to cafes, it'll be fantastic.
How do you go about painting something on this scale?
I'd make a wrong move with a paintbrush, I feel. How he can concentrate what he's doing with everybody looking at him.
So Geoffrey's been on site for half a day at least and hasn't had a drink of water all day, so I'm topping up with hydrolyte. On a mural you can't get enough of the stuff.
I'm Geoffrey Carran, I'm an artist, and we're standing in front of my next project, which is the GrainCorp Silos here in Goroke. I'm going to be painting a massive mural on these as part of the Victorian Silo Art Trail, and I'm pumped to be here and doing it. So the biggest question I get is, how do you paint something at that scale? And so when it came to the Goroke Silos, I thought, well, how do I paint something at that scale? I'm familiar with doing a grid, I've used projectors in the past, but I hadn't tried a scribble grid technique. Well, that's that section done. And when COVID hit, we were out here on my wife's family property in western Wimmera. And I happened to be lucky enough to be surrounded by field bins, which are effectively mini silos, which you store your grain or your feed stock in. And so I thought, hey, I'll give this a go. So with the image overlay or scribble grid, you take a smooth surface and you draw all over it. You take a photo of it, you get your resource and you put them on top of each other and you send it to your phone, and there's your reference point. So for this one I used it because it's a small bin and I could access it by a ladder, and I managed to draw, I just drew whatever all over the top of it and then took a photo of it, got the blue wren, put that on top of it and drew it up. Well, I hope people come to see this, and as part of the extended Victorian Silo Art Trail, and obviously the cultural phenomenon behind that and the tourist pool that it has is really strong, and it has revitalised a lot of small towns. The township of Goroke itself is a really unique little place. It's full of characters and history.
Well, there's a lot of history in Goroke.
If you know, but Goroke is an Aboriginal word for magpie.
Goroke is known as magpie.
Goroke does mean magpie.
Goroke being the indigenous language for magpie, and their local footy team being the Magpies, we had to have a magpie here.
But when we were kids, we'd have known every single person in the town.
G'day. How are you? Yeah, good mate. And then we've got magnificent kookaburra sitting on a dropper, and he's going to be having a conversation with that magpie.
I can remember when they were built, because we used to ride our bikes around the bottom of them, the concrete. We used to get in a fair bit of trouble when we were kids, but that used to happen. And yeah, they were built years ago, and of course they're not used now, and like a lot of silos in all over Victoria.
It will do a lot for the town, I reckon.
Oh, huge amount. I mean, the people
really
love
will.
following this silo trail. And
Well, Goroke's a place that's got a real sense of community. To me, that's the strong point.
It's a very caring community. We've got a good community spirit. a job wants doing, the community get behind it and get it done.
Looks like Bryce from across the road has taken it upon himself to do a bit of self-levelling of the new barbecue area opposite the silos here. The district around Goroke is primarily cropping. So you've got canola, faba beans, clover, raw beans, wheat, oats. It's just phenomenal cropping areas. So one of the things that public art can really bring to a community is that sense of placemaking and cultural tourism. And I'm going to be very interested to see how both the local community and the wider Australian community embrace this project. We've had a lot of interest with all the papers and the locals driving past. More or less like painting any other painting, you focus on one detail at a time and you build the bigger picture from there. I've just started the Magpie and I'm looking at it going, oh, I reckon I could get this done in about 2-3 days. So something a lot of people have been noticing is the level of detail that I'm putting into this work, even though it's so large. But to me, it's the same as working in the studio. It's the detail that makes my paintings come to life. Everybody refers to the eyes.
The eye of the kookaburra is just staggering with the reflection of those trees over there.
Oh, the eyes of the birds.
I think the detailing is my favourite part.
The eye is beautiful.
Seeing the detail of the kookaburra is just stunning.
For instance, in this eye, I started painting the tree line looking directly behind me and emulating that because I want the eye to reflect the reality of its environment. But as a painter, that's what I thrive on is the detail and the appreciation of it. I mean, over 10 years, if I haven't honed my craft, then something's not up. So everybody that turns up has inevitably 3 questions. They're like, how do you do that? Have you painted it another silo? What's going on the 3rd silo? And this kept happening time and time again. And then Lou Petho turned up from Artie and he's shooting a documentary on it too. Word got out and they're like, let's do a documentary on the silo project. But he turned up and was sort of halfway through the project and really needed to capture the process. And so that, in combination with consultation with the community and the council and GrainCorp, everybody decided that it'd be a good addition to paint the galah. And I was like, well, I've got the time, I've got another week up my sleeve, let's do this. And so I sent a message to Tony Scott, who's a great bird photographer, just through Instagram, and he instantly sent back a whole raft of galah photos. And as soon as I saw that one, I knew it was the exact one I wanted. So penciled that up last week and smashed out the galah. At first I was really excited about the idea of putting that pop of pink and the movement, that dynamic pose with the wings unfurling like that, really coming through, like flying through the silos towards us. How can you not like galahs unless you're, cropping? We've got 3 of the most iconic bird species in Australia on these silos, and the fact is we are completely surrounded by massive flocks of galahs here, so it makes sense to me. So what I chose my 2 birds to be sitting on are these things, droppers. Now these are made out of bull oak, and these are bull oaks behind us here. And they're hand split using a wedge, and bull oak splits really beautifully, and they're so iconic to the Western Wimmera. And over 100 years or so, they've weathered so beautifully. My birds are on there, and it's a historical reference to the area. Really hope to get the barbed wire finished today, but as you can see, the rain's hitting us, and we have to hustle to get everything packed up. Massive thunderstorms that were forecast for tomorrow have arrived, so we've got to get everything packed up and tidied away for the next couple of days. So close. So we're at the end of the project. Thunderstorms, lightning, power's out, and I'm finding inspiration for the last element that's going on the silos, and that's barbed wire. So we've stopped here to specifically photograph how these barbs fold around some of this old rusty wire here, and then I'll translate that up onto the silos, and then we're done.
Yeah, last night when that thunderstorm was on, the light struck my son's TV aerial, blew both their TVs, ruined them, made an awful bang.
Nervous. Yeah.
Why are you nervous?
Because I have to get this bit right, because it's right over the top of work that I've already done, which would be a real pain to try to replicate. I mean, there's no mystery as to what I do. I don't have hidden techniques or secret trade industry stuff. It's nice to share it, because it's like a lifetime of experience that's culminated into creating this project, and that's rewarding to share the process with everyone as well. Even though it's close, you want to match people's expectations of what rusty barbed wire should look like. I thought I got the colour wrong until I ran down here and I'm looking at it. I think it's spot on. When you see people rock on up and they see it for the first time, they're like, whoa!
Don't want to overkill the word amazing, but
Amazing, that is.
Amazing, really.
Absolutely amazing.
Amazing. Yeah.
Very amazing.
amazing.
To see him paint a giant bird with the same beauty and grace that he has done a work in the studio, it's just amazing.
These are really corny, but the first three words that popped into my head about how I'm feeling right now is buoyant, jovial, and fatigued.
Well done.
Thank you.
Great job.
There's nothing better than the magpie and the kookaburra. We've got them at home, you hear them every morning. Yeah. Unfortunately, my wife feeds the magpies.
Done. I'm absolutely exhausted, to tell you the truth. It's been 2 months on site, and we've had everything from turning up ground being like a swamp, hail, then 35-degree windy day, it's windy almost every day, lightning, yeah, full on, but at the same time really, really buoyant because of the love and support of the community here, and Rowena and her mum looking after me, and it's been amazing. And being out here in the country and driving through it and seeing all the changes right in the peak of harvest, it's been amazing. So all these mixed emotions just flowing through, and really I just want to go to bed and sleep for a day, and then yeah, take it all in. Hope I've done a good job.
Speaking with Geoffrey a couple of times, I was wondering whether he should put a no shooting sign up there, but I don't know whether that's going to happen. You reckon that might tempt people to do it? But
We think it'll be great for the community, and yeah, just to see it starting to take place is just terrific.
We have had so many strangers already. It is unbelievable. And this street had no one during COVID. Now it's alive. I've got to watch when I back out.
thank you so much for Geoffrey and Rowena's work in, just doing that basically.
A very talented man, there's no doubt about that, very talented.
I think we've already seen our local Apex Caravan Park, pretty much always got people in it now.
The biggest thing I've noticed is how much colour it seems to bring.
Everyone's like, oh, that eye, and now I get it.
So that's real reality TV, it's not scripted.
Can we cut that? It's back to, my mum was a teacher, and back then you had chalkboards, and every term they'll be studying a new topic, and all the teachers in the school, did a big chalkboard illustration of the key elements of what they were about to study. Everything would be illustrated, and my mum used to get me in to do her chalkboard, so I remember being 7 and 8 and going and doing these massive chalkboards for, she was teaching 11 and 12-year-olds, and that felt, so it was like a mini exhibition every couple of months. So that was my testing ground. And now I'm just still doing the same thing. Nothing's changed, so thanks, Mum.